Hi guys, Robert here. I'm going to do a quick video. Hopefully this works out okay. This is not a design edge video or a plasma cam video. This is for making a template for tumblers for laser engraving in Lightburn. I've had several questions about it over the years, and I have somebody that can use this right now, so I'm going to make this up for you. It's a pretty simple process geometrically, so let's look real quick at what we have to have for measurements to make a little template where we can engrave on both sides of the cup with Lightburn. So the first thing we need to know is we take the cup that you're going to work with and let's use the diameter. And so what I'm going to do is just measure this cup, and I'm going to see it's right at 4 inches. Okay, so 4 inches will work like a champ. We'll go with that. So then the next thing I need to know is if there's a ring at the top, how far down that comes. Okay, I'm going to look at that. You know, it's about 9/16. I'm going to call it 5/8 so that we're not in the way. So we've got 5/8 there down from the top, and then let's look from the top edge down about how far we can go for an engravable area. Okay, and to do that, I'm going to say that's about 3 7/8. So we can go down 3 7/8. That means that the engravable area here is the 5/8 at the top for the ring. Subtract the 3 7/8 like this. Okay, and essentially I'm going to have 3 1/4 of engravable area there. Okay, so that's what we're going to work with for our deal. We're going to go 3 1/4 for the engravable area height. We'll set the width in a moment, and we know that we've got 5/8 that we cannot engrave on up here at the top, but I want to put it in there so I can reference my laser starting point from the edge of the cup, and I know that the diameter is 4 inches. Okay, so let's go over to Lightburn and let's look at it. Okay, so in Lightburn, let me just draw you a circle to look at here. Okay, so let's set this at 4 inches. Okay, and let me make it, I'm going to leave it black so you can see it solid. So with a 4-inch circle, this is the cup if I were maybe looking down from the top of it. And so I want to engrave on this side over here, on this left, and I want to engrave over here on the right. Okay, and then so I'm going to origin my laser at the top in the center. So it's going to engrave with my template 90 degrees from the top each direction. So if you're doing a front and back, you want to put the in-between area at the top. So that'll make sense as you see it go. But to lay this thing out flat, we've got to unpeel the tread off this tire. We've got to lay it out flat and roll it. And to do that, we have to use just a touch of math. And so what we find is that the diameter of the circle, what we know is it is the diameter times pi to get the circumference. Okay, so pi is 3.14 and my cup is 4 diameter, 4 inches. So 4 inches times 3.14, all right, that's 12.56. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. Okay, I'm going to make it red. And if you look, the reason is my red layer is always a line and it's always set to not output. Okay, that way I can use this for my templates and not have to worry about messing up my cup. And I've got a layer that doesn't output, but I do reference from. I'm going to unlock this little aspect ratio padlock so that I can set the dimensions of this. All right, and I need, since I'm laying up sideways, I need the width of that to be the height of that little metal band. So that's 5/8, right? 5/8, which is 0.625. And the height is the circumference. So all the way around the cup, that little band is that high. So that height is the circumference of the cup, which is 12.56. Okay, so there is a band drawn out, laying flat of the circumference of the cup and the band. Okay, so let me get this, maybe. Get a hold of it. I use too many programs in the day. Get it out of the way. Okay, so this little rectangle here, we're going to have to do some math to place the pieces on the sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sure that I've checked this left center for the reference point, and I'm going to go over here to my locations, my X and Y position, and I'm going to put 10 and 10 in, so that now this little rectangle, my little green dot for my origin, is at 10, 10. So that'll come in handy for some math. So let me draw myself a little rectangle here. And this is going to be the engravable area of the cup. So I'll unlock my padlock, and I'm going to say a 3.5 inch width, okay, because it's a 4-inch diameter cup. You go much past the diameter wide, and you've got to really kind of roll the cup to look at the outside edges. So I try to keep it in 3.5. And keep in mind, this is just a template. So if I put a piece of art in that's 4 inches wide that hangs over the edges, that's okay. You can let it go on around. But for design's sake, I'm going to set it up to be 3.5 inch wide. And the height, you remember, was 3.25. Right? That was 3.25 because the top band was about 5/8, and down to the bottom of where we wanted to engrave was 3 7/8. So you subtract those two, or measure it, and you get 3.25. Okay, I'm going to lock this back so I don't forget it. And then I'm going to rotate this negative 90 degrees. Okay, so that's laying it on its side now. If you're doing this development and your rotary's in the other way around, and you've got the chuck on the right-hand side rather than the left, then you'll just have to build this from the right and not the left. So you'll just be kind of mirrored to what I'm doing here. Or you could build it like this and then flip it over. So, okay, so I'm going to grab my little square here, and I'm also going to grab it by the center and the left. And the reason I'm going to do that is so that I can place its center in the correct spot along this band so that it'll be on opposite sides. Okay, so my X dimension, well, you know, I know for a fact that is 10 plus that 5/8 width, so 0.625. And so you see that slaps it against the band like I would expect. Now up and down, I've got to go 1/4 of the way down, and then another one I've got to do 1/4 of the way up. That way it's on opposite sides of this cup. Okay, so you quarter it. I want one on top and one on bottom. Then I'm going to have to go 25% one direction, 25% the other. So I take the circumference, 12.56, and I divide that by 4 because I need to quarter up the circumference. I need to have it in 4 pieces. So what I'm going to do is divide that out, and that gives you 3.14 again. And this is relevant to whatever your real diameter is. Okay. The reason it works this way is because our 4-inch diameter, and we divide it back out, so we wind up with pi again. But don't let that throw you. It won't happen that way every time. So 12.56 divided by 4 is 3.14. So I need one of these rectangles to be 10 plus 3.14 for a coordinate, and the other one I need to be a 10 minus 3.14. Okay, so I can do the first one easily because it's 10, because that's where I set my little green reference dot. So 10 would be 13.14, right? So that will place that side in the correct spot. Now I can do a Control C, Control V. Maybe I went a little fast. And paste myself another identical square rectangle for the other side. Okay? So that one I am going to have to do a little math. I'll take 10 minus 3.14 so that I can go up. And that number is 6.86. Okay, so my X position is the same, 10 5/8, 10.625. You can do the math in Lightburn also. I could say 10 plus 5 divided by 8, 5/8, and that will get the same number. And then my Y position, remember, is 10 minus 3.14, 10 minus a fourth of my circumference is 6.86, so 6.86. There it is. Okay, so all that work, now I'm done with the template itself. Now when you go into your Rotary settings, when you load this later, you don't have to make yourself big notes, and you don't have to remember what the circumference of your 4-inch cup is, or go in and change by the diameter. All you got to do is come in here to your Rotary settings, you select your top piece, all right, and it shows you its height is 12.56. So you go into your Rotary setup, you're going to turn your Rotary on. My laser is not connected, so I can't show you that, but you can go in, you turn your enable your Rotary, and you set not the diameter but the circumference here on the bottom. Okay, set that to 12.56, and when you do, the fractions up here of your diameter won't matter. Okay, and you tell that okay, and it's going to write it to your controller so that it will work. And if the diameter is fractionally different, it won't make a bit of difference as long as the diameter or the circumference here, the height of this piece, matches your Rotary setting, then that'll be a full turn. Okay, so that'll work out right. So that's really all you have to do. And then when you import your artwork, if you've got DXFs or you know, whatever you're doing, let's see what that is. I haven't any idea. Yep, there's a cute name. Okay, let me get rid of my circle. So if I want to put that on this cup, all I've got to do is select it, and then I of course have to rotate it. -90 on this one, and that flips it. Now the height of this thing's 7 inches. That's not going to work. Okay, so I'm going to need it about 4 inches tall, and that will be actually the width on the cup. So now I can put that over here on this side. All I've got to do is select my artwork, hold down Shift, select my little square box, and push the center up video or center up button to place it right there in that spot. I've had more artwork, I could center it up over here. Okay, and that's going to be the front and the back. You can do it in 2 steps. If you want to do a one piece of artwork that's only on the top and the center, then you can center it to the box first, and then afterwards you can select the entire circumference and then only center it on their horizontal centers, and then that'll be right in the middle of the top. So there you see how to do it. That's the easiest way I know to explain it. It's not horribly complex, but that should get you a good process to make that happen for you. So thanks for spending some time with me, and hopefully that helps on your laser engraving of cups. Talk to you later.